Hi, welcome to a Sit Down with Sharon, part of my Learning to Live Well series. Um, Today I want to talk about where our allergens can be hidden in our food supply or even in our everyday items. I have alpha gal syndrome. Alpha gal syndrome is a tick-borne illness, which means that I got it from a tick bite, specifically the Lone Star tick. Now, I was bitten in 1983, long before they even believed that that was a possibility to get sick long term, to have a food allergy from a tick bite. It wasn't until 2009 that it was confirmed by a doctor who had his suspicions that the ticks were causing what is called the red meat allergy. So it's a lot more than just a red meat allergy or a mammal allergy. Quite a few patients who have alpha gal syndrome are allergic to um, just the meat, just beef and pork, but they can tolerate dairy. Some are allergic to everything that has anything to do with mammal. There's also carrageenan that alpha gal patients have to be aware of. Carrageenan is a seaweed, but it has the alpha gal molecule in it. And alpha gal allergy or syndrome is an allergy to a carbohydrate. The medical field has not yet caught up with a lot of this information. And the idea that you can be allergic to a carbohydrate is still new in the medical field. When they do a skin prick test for allergies, a lot of times people who have alpha gal will not react to the beef and pork proteins because they're not allergic to those proteins. They're allergic to a carbohydrate. Um, so the problem is getting a proper diagnosis. But the other thing is the symptoms from alpha gal syndrome can go from anywhere from mild hives, discomfort in the gut, brain fog, some more of the milder issues, all the way up to full-blown anaphylaxis with swelling in every cell of the body, breaking out in hives, um, severe cramping in the gut, severe diarrhea, um, tongue, mouth, lungs, everything swelling, eyes swelling shut, um, a full-on anaphylaxis episode, which I've experienced. My husband and I had gone to dinner for a anniversary dinner, and I was pregnant with our second daughter, and I had no clue that a particular restaurant used lard in their biscuits. It's since been outlawed in the United States, so that's not a possibility anymore in a restaurant, but I had no idea. And we sat down to a seafood dinner, had a great meal. 3 hours later, I was in full-blown anaphylactic shock, pregnant, um, in an ambulance, on the way to the hospital. They were giving me as much epinephrine and Benadryl as they possibly could through doctor's orders until I got to the hospital and they could assess me. When I got to the hospital, it was a steroid cocktail, three other different steroids, and I don't know what all else, but straight Benadryl straight into your veins, that'll make you loopy. So there are so many implications to the alpha gal syndrome allergies. But the other thing is low dose constant exposure causes our bodies to be in a high histamine state so that then when it's like a bucket and one more drop sends our entire system into overdrive. So where are mammal products hidden? Well, let's look at detergents, soaps, and body care real quick. Laundry detergent, dish soaps, all of our shampoos and body cares, lotions, and everything that we put on our skin. Animal fat has been used for centuries. It's been used for millennia. As a conditioner, as a soap, you can take the animal fat and ashes, which are which contain lye, and make soap. Centuries old method of making soap. So the problem comes when we do not know how mammal is used, or mammal fat, animal fat, is used in our daily products, but it is. And people who have alpha gal syndrome continue using their everyday products to wash their hair, to wash their face, to wash their clothes, to wash their dishes. And they wind up with a constant exposure. And what we are not told very often, our skin is our biggest organ. And what is absorbed into our skin is in our liver within 26 seconds. So, how long is the shampoo on your head? How long is the body wash on your skin? How long are your hands in the wash for doing dishes? How much of these things are you absorbing? Not to mention all of the other chemicals that are in it. But we're just talking about a mammal ingredient at the moment. So, low dose, everyday, constant exposure can overload our systems. But not only that, that's just one area. That's just the soap category. Let's look at lotions. Well, lotions have got fatty acids in them. They've got chemicals made from fatty acids. Well, where do the fatty acids come from? From fat. Well, fatty acids can be made from both plants and from mammal sources. So companies don't have to tell you which way it's sourced. So all of the body care products, you have to be very, very careful. You can get vegan products on the market today, but we also have to be careful because vitamin D3, which is added to a lot of things, is made from irradiated lanolin, which is sheep's wool. Now, no animal was harmed. I was actually on the website of a popular vitamin company that is vegan, but they used vitamin D3 that was made from lanolin. So that is a problem for those who have alpha gal syndrome. So even our supplements, our vitamins and our minerals, we have to be very careful with because of the presence of mammal meat or mammal derived products or chemicals that are in those things. Other areas to be concerned with when you have alpha gal syndrome, because a lot of people, I belong to several Facebook groups for alpha gal. A lot of people are always asking in these groups, well, what do I need to look for? Well, think about your medications as well. We've got our supplements, and now we go to medications. Well, daily medications and daily supplements are often bound with magnesium stearate. It is a binder, it is a powder, it's, holds the pill together, and it's a source of magnesium. But it is most often made from a mammal source. It can be made from plants, and if it's not designated on the bottle, you have to call the company and find out which one they're using in the formulation of their vitamins or their medications. So those are some of the things that you have to be on the lookout for. But let's say heart medications, daily medications for all different types of conditions. Many of them contain mammal-derived ingredients. So Vegan Med is a great resource online for you to find out what medicines might be safe for someone who has alpha gal syndrome. And there are other places where mammal hides, especially in our homes. Think about candles, air fragrances, air fresheners, fragrances, our need for things to smell good and to be clean, and who doesn't like to smell good and to be clean, are oftentimes, they contain tallow or they contain mammal-derived ingredients. Fragrances are often set with a mammal-based ingredient, an oil or a tallow, depends on whether it's a liquid fragrance or a solid fragrance. But we have to be very, very careful when you have this type of an allergy. And there are so many other places where mammal hides. And it is best for people who have alpha-gal syndrome to get educated as fast as possible. My son's best friend just was bitten by a Lone Star tick about 2.5 months ago. And he's already had 2 episodes of anaphylaxis. So he now is in a learning curve of what can I do? What can I not do? What do I have to have? What do I have to avoid? Is there anything I can eat? Is there anything I can't eat? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? Because this is not something that there is a cure for at this time. There is a treatment, and we'll talk about that in another sit down. But for my alpha-gal buddies out there, please be careful. Please be aware. On one of our Facebook pages today, we had an obituary come across where someone succumbed to their alpha-gal syndrome illness, which means they probably passed away from anaphylaxis. And so many doctors, so many allergists, it's a relatively new diagnosis, newly discovered disease. So people around the world who are coming down with these symptoms, their doctors don't know about it, don't know how to treat it. Frankly, there is not any real treatment. Don't know what to do. Don't know what medications have got mammal in it. Don't know what things, if you have to have surgery, have mammal in it. And so you have to be very, very proactive in figuring out for yourself and educating yourself, and reach out to those who have lived like me for 40 years with this. Reach out to others through the alpha-gal pages on Facebook. Find out what you need to know, because information and knowledge can save your life when doctors can't, when medicine's making you sick and you don't know why, when you have constant upset stomach and don't know why. There are a couple of blood tests that can be done through a couple of different labs. That information is online. You can find it on Facebook pages. There is so much that you have to learn, but be careful. Over 30 episodes of anaphylaxis, I'm speaking from experience. They get worse and worse and worse with each set of exposure. So just be aware that if you get a tick on you, and the next time you eat beef or pork or any type of mammal, you get terribly sick within 2 to 24 hours. Be aware of the fact that it could possibly be from that tick bite. And remember, seed ticks are tinier than a head of a pin, but they can still make you sick. So spray for ticks, be aware, do tick checks when you come in, and make sure that you know every source of mammal that is in your home, in your life, and be careful out there. Thanks for sitting down with Sharon in Learning to Live Well.